What's good, YouTube? Welcome to my channel, man. My name's DivaTequila. I appreciate you being here. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Today we're going to be going through what my preferred settings options are for XDefiant. I'm a mouse and keyboard player, so keep that in mind. But go ahead and like and subscribe if you aren't already. We'll get right into it. So obviously I have mouse and keyboard selected. My field of view is maxed out at 120. You can find your personal preference somewhere between 100 and 120. Being a mouse and keyboard player, I think it is extremely advantageous to see as much of the game as possible. A higher field of view results in some snappier movement for the most part, and it also helps to reduce the visual recoil. So I max out ADS field of view. You want to have it on consistent. This keeps everything feeling nice and clean. If you have independent, then your field of view will change between being ADS and not ADS, so it can give you a little bit of a headache. You also lose the benefit of seeing more of the screen when you're ADS, so keep this on consistent. Hold for ADS behavior. Toggle just feels really wonky. Sensitivity transition on instant. My ADS sensitivity multiplier is 1, so it doesn't make too big of a difference for me if you don't adjust that multiplier at all. But essentially, if you don't have it on instant, then it's going to feel kind of wonky when you first start ADSing, because it's not going to be instantly your new ADS sensitivity. It's going to have like a gradual change to it. Anyways, it feels kind of wonky. I leave this on instant just for smoothness. Melee during ADS, sure, absolutely. If I'm going to melee, I want to be able to melee right when I want to melee. Aiming interrupts reload. I like to have this on because bad habit that I have is to spam reload anytime after I have an engagement. But if I'm spamming my reload, say I just got 1 kill and I've got like 12 bullets in the chamber, and I get ready to reload, but then somebody runs up on me real quick, I can real quick aim, it'll cancel the reload animation, and you can get straight back into firing. Finish your reload after that engagement. I've played with crouch behavior on toggle and hold. I think hold is a bit better when crouch spamming was viable, but now that they've nerfed the crouch spamming and the bunny hopping, I do think toggle is better. Just feels a bit more consistent for me. Also allows me to not have so many key inputs. As opposed to hold, I constantly have to just I don't know. It felt weird. I wasn't really enjoying it. I like crouch behavior on toggle. Not really need to spam it anymore. Sprint behavior on tap, but I do have auto sprint on, so that kind of negates that. The auto sprint threshold is set to 40. This is more for controller. On mouse and keyboard, it doesn't really matter. If you hold W, you're going to auto sprint. Sprint interrupting reload I have off. This will allow me to continue sprinting while reloading, so pretty important to have this off in my opinion. Slide behavior I have on tap. Same thing with the slide behavior on hold. I just didn't, or the crouch behavior on hold. I just didn't really enjoy the feel of it on hold. Sometimes I want to have a long slide. In XDefiant, you can kind of change directions and swerve a little bit as you're sliding before you want to bunny hop out of it or whatever it may be. But when I have it on hold, it wasn't feeling very smooth to me, so whatever. I have auto reload weapon and auto switch weapon on. This is for whenever your magazine is empty or whenever you're out of ammo. Sometimes you don't notice it mid firefight, so it's nice to just go ahead and have that action immediately applied for you. Auto grab ledge off. I want to have full control over my character at all times. Walk behavior on hold. This is when I actually need to walk as opposed to auto sprinting. I can just hold the walk button. I don't do this very often though. Scoreboard behavior on hold, whatever. Challenge notifications all. I want to see my damage numbers and my enemy health bars. This way I have a more accurate picture of how close I am to killing somebody. It helps with re-challing. It helps with pursuing somebody around a corner, whatever it may be. I like to have my minimap rotation off. This means that the orientation will be locked, so regardless of where I'm looking, my compass is always going to be north, south, east, west. It helps me when I'm looking up at my map real quickly to know exactly where somebody is around the map, especially once you start to learn the maps fully. This is personal preference. I just have mine on meters just because whatever, I play rugby, so I understand meters pretty easily. It doesn't really matter either way. I do have my FPS display on. I have my ping off, but that's because it usually shows in the scoreboard at the beginning, so I don't really care. I have diagnostic overlay on, so this is just personal preference down here on what you actually want to see up here. I don't like to have too much visual distractions, so I just have my FPS on. My mouse sensitivity is slightly higher than it was when you start, so the way I try to determine my mouse sensitivity, I know this won't apply for everybody, so change it as you see fit, is I want to be able to do real quick flicking right or left. I want to, in a natural movement, be able to do a full 180. Shout out to Mr. Virus for that. I want to be able to do a full clean 180, almost exactly left and right, just with one quick mouse flick. So 35 is where I'm at. I do have my ADS sensitivity set to 1. I've had it up as high as 1.15 and as low as 0.85, and honestly, just having the ADS sensitivity consistent with my looking sensitivity does feel the cleanest. I have mouse acceleration off. I don't do invert vertical axis. That's just weird, especially on mouse and keyboard. I know some old shooters on controller, like Red Faction, that was like the auto default. But anyways, right click back allows you to navigate through the menu a lot cleaner. I do lock my mouse to my game window when I'm in a match because I do have a dual monitor display. For the most part, my keybinds are the same. My sprint and hold button, whatever, hold breath button is set to a mouse button, so I do have that changed from default, I believe. But you know, kind of just tinker around with your keybinds to make sure they're right. I know initially I think sprint is shift. Yeah, so I put my crouch on shift because I can actually spam that while still moving, and then I have my sprint to my mouse button. No major differences there. I actually have G for grenade is also bound to one of my mouse buttons as well, so I can real quick throw my grenades. I can real quick melee if I need to. To be honest with you, I think the only time I melee in this game is when I was doing the Blitz Shield challenges, which I have completed. I've unlocked all the faction characters. Dope little slight flex right there. But yeah, your keybinds are all going to be shooter's preference. For the most part, I left everything the same. I just changed sprint and crouch slide just to feel a little bit more natural for me. Audio voice chat, I don't like having my shit booming, especially with the music and the UI and all that stuff. I turned those all the way down. I have the dialogue volume down low enough to where I can hear the announcer in game, but it's not blowing my eardrums out. And then sound effects all the way up, and then I kind of just scale back to where I can hear footsteps of somebody coming up on me, but then the gun volume in my ears isn't too loud because fuck all that. I have voice chat turned entirely off. If you use voice chat, do what you need to do with that. But when I'm in comms with the homies, we use Discord, so no worries about that. This is obviously going to be the main thing that people are worried about. I do use windowed full screen. This will allow me to use my dual monitor setup without having to worry about changing shit around too much. Let me see. I guess you could go full screen, but windowed for me is easier because I work from home. You see, it's supposedly easier for multitasking. I work from home, so sometimes I need to quickly AFK. And then when I'm streaming as well, I like to be able to look at my Streamlabs and my Discord. So if you want higher performance, you could just do full screen. I prefer windowed. Doesn't really matter though. For the sake of argument, if you want to have like maximum performance, you would put this on full screen, and then for your hertz here, you would try to match it up with what your monitor is. So my monitor is a 240, so I would want to have my refresh rate matching that. And then down here, you'd have your frame limit set off, or just set to 250. If you're using a dual monitor setup, then you want to have your display monitor obviously correctly selected. I have triple buffering off. I do have reduced latency on. This will supposedly decreases the amount of time it takes for the actions that I'm performing on my keyboard and my mouse to apply in game. It'll give it to where I have like a faster ping essentially, but it can lower frame rate. I don't have any frame rate issues on this game. I'm routinely above 200-300, so I'm okay with having a slightly lower frame rate if I don't have input lag. I have low latency NVIDIA Reflex on. I don't do the on plus boost because I think that that's just slightly unnecessary, but I do like to have the low latency mode on a little bit. Brightness and contrast are the same. I have this DX12 renderer set off at the moment. I personally try to have the lowest graphic settings possible for me to still be able to see the game clearly, maximize my frame rates, decrease any form of input lag, and still allow me to stream and do Discord. So you'll see that I have it's set to custom, but I have everything on the lowest except for my frame rate limit is off, so that way I can get frames 300 plus, and I have VSync mode off as well. So yeah, it says if you're experiencing input lag, turn off VSync mode. Like I said, I don't want to have any form of input lag, especially when you're playing a competitive first-person shooter. So other than that, I've got all of this shit set to its absolute lowest. I usually have my resolution scale set to 100. But if you want more frames, you can put it down to 75. So you can tinker around with this one if you want. If you want the picture to look as clean as possible, have your resolution scale on 100. If you don't mind the game looking not 100% optimal, but higher frames and reduced input lag, turn the resolution scale down. I usually just have it turned down a little bit, again, while I'm streaming, while I'm running Discord as well, just because, you know, I still want to have maximum performance. I don't really notice the difference between 75 to 100, but I also don't play with my glasses on, so all this shit is blurry most of the time anyway. Other than that, like I said, I've got everything set to low and off. I want to have the maximum frame limit that I can. I'm usually pushing above 300. VSync mode off. That's the big takeaway from the video and graphics. So real quick, that was my settings that I use in XDefiant. If you're new to the channel, I'd appreciate if you subscribe, leave a like, comment, and let me know what things you're doing differently. Maybe you notice something that I could change that'll benefit my gameplay. Let me know if anything's helped you out as well. I'm really enjoying playing this game. I've got about 100 hours played so far, which I know isn't an absolute a lot of time in a month, but I only get to play like 2 or 3 hours a night, and then a little bit on weekends with rugby and all that stuff. But I'm enjoying it. I've completed all the faction challenges. I got my first gold gun. I got the ACR maxed out. My MP7's almost maxed out as well. So I hope everybody's enjoying it. I really want the hype of this game to last. You know, hopefully it carries us through the next couple months. I know we've got some big games coming out this year. Looking forward to that. Gears of War 6 is going to be beautiful. I guess they're calling it like E-Day or something like that. But anyways, man, if you stuck around this long, I love you. I appreciate you. Have a wonderful day. Stay safe.